I was with a client of mine the other day, and something interesting popped up. He asked, "How's the family? How's everything going?" I asked him the same thing, and then he asked me, "So your son is still in martial arts?" And I said, "Yeah, both of them. But yeah, my oldest one, he coaches, he fights, he's still in it." He's like, "Wow, that is dedication," because he's known him since he was a little kid. And that just brought up the message for today. And that is, you know, even if you've worked out for a good year straight, if you've gotten into, let's say, the sport of fighting for a year, let's say even 5 years, or we can even go deeper, let's say 10 years. While those are a lot of years, and I applaud you, I'm thinking way back, my son is 25 years old, and he's been doing this literally since he was born. And I know people, think that I'm being a bit hyperbolic there when I say since he was born, but literally when he came out, I used to take his little hands, and I had this little piece of wood that I would put in my other hand, and I would take his fingers, and I would have him condition his fingers against the wood. And then there would be times, obviously, as he got older and older, we're talking about months, 1 year old, two, and so on and so forth, he would always be training with me. And, what he learned, of course, aside from skill set, was the environment and the mindset of fighting, of combat. So to him, it was almost, it's like epigenetics, like the environment of his mind from birth all the way till now has always been about combat, about fighting, about martial arts. Now, of course, when he was younger, all the way until he actually got into mixed martial arts, we never did anything for mixed martial arts. His mindset, like my mindset, has always been about survival. The things that could happen, the things that you could avoid. And of course, I take pride on one hand, and the other hand, I take responsibility. Because he definitely loved to fight. But then again, I was also raised in the same environment. My father didn't teach me how to fight so that I can go out and start trouble, although that's what I ultimately ended up doing. But he taught me for survival. So in my mind, it's always been about survival. If you're a Darwinist, then you'll probably agree survival of the fittest. But I mean, I'm obviously being a little funny there, but it is true. You have to have a survival mindset. But that carries on through every area of your life. So yes, you could join a sport, and you can go 0 to 100 and fighting, and that's great. And some people love the sport more than they love the fight. They love the sport, the crowd, the coaching, the refs, the weigh-ins, they love the sport. They love all of the things that come with when you ultimately fight in the cage, instead of the fight itself. And I've always found that weird because, for many years, even before my son was even born, I was always doing martial arts. I still do martial arts. I still teach it. And people will say, "Hey, do you know Bing Bang Boom? Billy Bob John, this?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." And it's funny because there are always people that are name dropping and throwing names out there. And people are so in love with the sport of everything, with the community of it all. And while that's great and it keeps people in composure, that's just never been my thing, and it's definitely not my son's thing or any of my kids. Combat is focus on yourself. Yes, get to see and know who does what. Like, oh, that looks good. Oh, I like that type of style. Oh, I can definitely implement that in my fighting. But it's about you. don't look at everybody else as the star. You're the star. You're the one ultimately has to defend yourself. And at the end of the day, what is it worth for you to know all this stuff and then you're beating people up in the cage and, you're a big, strong man, but, the rest of your life doesn't show it, or you don't know how to survive in real life because that's all you know is that cage, that final show. You got to live your life like every day and any day could be the day that you might have to protect and defend yourself. And only a mind of combat that's based around you, the person who's going to be fighting and exercising those abilities, it's going to be about you. It's not going to be about the cool gym. It's not going to be about hitting a bag 900 times. It's not going to be about how awesome, techniques, It's not going to be about, you striving for that other belt. It's not going to be about your attendance at the school. It's not going to be, and all that is great, okay? But at the end of the day, I've never taught my kids, specifically my son, my oldest son, who I'm very proud of, because he's an excellent coach because of that. And more than that, he's a real life testament, being a combative survivor to the elements of the world, based on everything that he has been taught since birth. So, and you know what? I would even go a step further because, I remember when he was in my wife's stomach, and I would talk to him about us punching, and I would go like this to my wife's stomach, and I would feel his little hand in there. And so it literally has been inculcated into his everyday fabric of his life, and he's learned great responsibility by knowing what he knows. And it takes a lot of understanding of yourself to grow into a place of just peace and tranquility, not looking for trouble because of the skill sets that you have. And remember, skill sets don't just rely on just your knuckles, your hands, your elbows. Skill sets in surviving requires many more things in your life, one of them being your brain. All right, so anyway, that's the thought of the day. 7 minutes, not bad, 8 minutes. But yeah, I'm very proud of my son. Switch, he definitely has taken up everything, the essence of what I've taught him, what WCS, Wing Chun Science, was actually birthed on. So he was the first, crash dummy along the way. And I'm very proud of him because he's definitely the man that you want around you when push comes to shove. So I hope you like this video. Of course, please feel free to comment. I'm going to enjoy the sun here. Peace.